shift focus on how to spend your tax dollars to help storm victims and possibly billionaires.
St. Louis County's animal shelter hits new bumps. Tonight, the report from the state pointing out failures at the Olivet facility.
Live, First Alert 4 starts now.
First at 5, homes torn apart and many lives tattered. We enter week 2 of recovery from one of St. Louis's most devastating storms on record.
Tonight, new relief efforts are in motion to help the victims and the city rebound. By this time tomorrow, Missouri's National Guard will be on the ground. FEMA will begin new assessments of damage.
And from St. Louis City Hall to the state capitol, other ideas to lift people up are now forming.
Tonight, Team 4 coverage is looking at different efforts to help St. Louis. We're going to start with our Nathan Vickers and relief that may be coming from City Hall. Nathan.
That's right. There are still a lot of neighborhoods around St. Louis that look like this one. You can see a lot of debris behind me, a lot of work happening, and a lot of homes like this one, either with no roof or maybe a tarp over the roof, people still living inside of places like these. And now the Board of Aldermen is considering 2 different proposals to try to help people in neighborhoods like this one. It's been more than a week of no power for Nathaniel Austin.
What I like to see is, how people come together and trying to help each other through this here.
But in the past few days, he's been encouraged to see people helping with meals and clearing the debris in his neighborhood.
How many places around here, people's house, they had to leave out altogether.
Across the street, Jerry Turner has been starting to worry about the long-term effects of the damage to his home.
Right now, I'm sleeping on the kitchen floor. Right now, though, my real focus is to get back to have a livable life.
That's the focus of the 2 bills being fast-tracked within the Board of Aldermen. One would provide assistance to tenants who are forced to leave their homes. The other would reduce the property tax burden for homeowners who suffered damage.
We're moving very quickly on these bills, which probably will be done by this week.
Rasheen Aldridge is one of the aldermen working on the bills. He and others on the board say they're still considering their next steps for long-term relief, especially with no financial help announced by the state or federal government yet.
This is a disaster that is too large for our city to handle by itself. I'm really disappointed to see the federal government stepping back from its role of helping in disasters, and I think that really they need to step up in this moment.
Still too early to know what the federal government's going to do or the state government, but what we're trying to do here on the local level is be proactive to make sure that through these 2 pieces of legislation, I think is a start.
Turner hopes to see the city pressing landlords to make repairs to buildings like his.
The owners of these places need to get busy and make a decision what they're going to do.
And he and his neighbors believe that help rebuilding will be vital in the coming months.
I think they should do some type of help, to help everybody that needs help with, with somewhere to stay and live.
Well, Mayor Kara Spencer's office says her team is working closely with the aldermen to get these bills fast-tracked and on her desk within the next few days as well.
Well, Nathan, what kind of funding might be available to the city to use for disaster relief?
Well, in addition to some of the city's emergency relief funds, there's also some discussion about whether they could potentially reallocate some ARPA funds to help with tornado damage through organizations like the Community Development Administration. However, that may come with some legal hurdles because that money was already allocated last year. Another option could be using some of the $300 million in RAM settlement funds. But when you think about all the damage to all these neighborhoods, you're looking at more than a $1.5 billion worth of damages. So neither of those funds, ARPA nor the RAM settlement, would be enough to cover all the damage you have here in St. Louis.
Yeah, so much damage to go through and a lot of money to go through the recovery. All right, Nathan, thank you.
Another issue that